Are you aware that there might be accursed objects lurking in your home, opening doors to a realm you never intended to invite? Objects harboring dark energy and serving as gateways to malevolent forces seeking to wreak havoc in your life. Today, we are diving into the chilling world of accursed objects and the sinister power they hold. Inspired by biblical accounts like the story of Joshua and Saul and the dire consequences they faced, we'll be exploring the chilling world and reality of demonic gateways that grant evil spirits access to your life. From forbidden practices like necromancy and divination to seemingly innocuous items with a hidden curse, we've compiled a list of 15 accursed objects that must be removed from your home today. Join us on this journey as we unravel the secrets, expose the dangers, and provide you with the knowledge to safeguard yourself and your loved ones. Get ready to confront the unseen and take action against these insidious forces. Get ready to remove the 15 cursed objects that have found their way into your home. Now, let's look at two biblical examples so we'll have a spiritual understanding from the scriptures. Let's begin. Cursed objects can indeed serve as demonic gateways or portals, providing evil spirits with access and permission and grounds to operate, so to speak. These openings grant demons the legal right to insert their influence, whether subtly or overtly. Even if a person is unaware of an object or symbol being cursed, it can still be utilized by evil spirits. Let's explain this and dive into this further. These scenarios are actually quite common, and ignorance or lack of knowledge does not serve as an excuse. Let's look at the account in the book of Joshua, where it provides an example of the consequences that God's people faced when unknowingly allowing an accursed item into their camp. After the victory at Jericho, Joshua sent men to scout out the city of Ai. They reported that Ai was a small city and only a portion of the army would be needed. Joshua sent out 3,000 men, but 36 of them were killed in this battle. Joshua sought the Lord in prayer, and God revealed that Israel had sinned by taking in accursed items, accursed things, and bringing them among their belongings. God stated that unless these accursed items, these accursed things were destroyed, Israel would not be able to stand against their enemies. This incident affected the entire nation and even Joshua, a great man of faith, who seemingly wasn't responsible for it. But God commanded Joshua to identify and eliminate the individual responsible, along with his family and his possessions. The Lord made it clear that without removing these items, they would not have victory over their enemies. And the same is true for us today. The devil and his demons are experts at deception and continuously seek opportunities to establish a foothold, stronghold, and even a stranglehold over the believers. One primary tactic that they employ is convincing people to bring in these accursed objects into their home. The Bible therefore warns believers to be sober and vigilant and alert, as the devil prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Demonic doorways, also known as portals or gateways, grant demons access, or in another term, the legal right to harass, oppress, torment, and destroy individuals. An example from the Old Testament is the story of Saul, who disobeyed God and allowed an evil spirit to torment him. Disobedience gave the evil spirit an opportunity to oppress him. An example of an accursed object is like a Ouija board, which people use to communicate with the dead. However, the Bible explicitly prohibits attempting to contact the dead. Other terms associated with this practice include necromancy, divination, magic, sorcery, medium, psychic, consulting the dead. These practices involve communicating with familiar spirits. In Saul's later days, when he faced the Philistine armies and lacked spiritual guidance due to the death of the prophet Samuel, he decided to consult a practitioner of the dark arts. In contemporary terms, these practitioners are known as psychics, witches, wizards, mediums, magicians, gurus, yoga practitioners, medicine doctors, and other similar titles like these depending on the region. Saul sought guidance from a medium to communicate with the prophet Samuel and receive direction. Saul's actions, however, constituted a breach of his faith, and as he disobeyed the Lord's command and turned to a medium for guidance instead of seeking God himself, as a result, the Lord put him to death and transferred the entirety of his kingdom to David, the son of Jesse, in 1 Chronicles chapter 10, I believe. The Bible repeatedly warns against seeking guidance from those who have familiar spirits or wizards who practice divination, as this constitutes spiritual adultery. God sets himself against individuals engaging in such practice and cuts them off from his people. You see this in Leviticus chapter 20. Believers are instructed to separate themselves from such practices, refusing to touch the unclean and detesting abominations. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. The scriptures emphasize that the importance of hating evil, as the Lord preserves the souls of his saints and delivers them from the hands of the wicked, in Psalms 97. In summary, accursed objects can provide openings for demonic influence and must be dealt with very seriously. Believers are called to be vigilant and discerning and obedient to God's commands, avoiding practices and objects associated with darkness and the occult. By doing so, they protect not only themselves from their demonic influence, but also their families. This allows them to walk in freedom and victory. Drawing from the scriptural examples of accursed objects, it is evident that certain items held significance in inviting spiritual consequences. In a similar vein, there are various objects in contemporary context that, when present, can open doors to negative spiritual influences. And now, having examined our biblical examples that illustrate the severity of these consequences of harboring accursed objects, it becomes clear that such items can serve as gateways for malevolent forces. The stories of Joshua and Saul demonstrate the importance of recognizing and removing these objects. Just as the Israelites faced dire consequences until they eliminated the accursed items, we too must take immediate action to safeguard ourselves and our loved ones from these unseen dangers that lurk within our homes. These objects, much like their ancient counterparts, possess a potential threat. By identifying and removing various accursed objects, we can take a proactive stance against the insidious forces that seek to infiltrate our lives. So, without further ado, let us embark on a journey that will expose the secrets and dangers associated with these objects. We can reclaim a sense of peace and protection and spiritual freedom. Join us as we journey into the chilling realm of accursed objects and equip ourselves with the knowledge needed to ensure our spiritual growth and development. However, our journey does not end there. Once we have successfully removed these accursed objects, it's crucial to understand the next steps in our quest for spiritual protection. In our ongoing series, we will investigate practical strategies and practices that shield us from spiritual oppression. Now, click here to watch part 2 of this ongoing video series.